Hi, this video depicts scenes of me fishing for brook trout and rainbow trout at Emigrant Lake. If you're the type of person that enjoys a backcountry meal of trout, please consider harvesting the brook trout and leaving the big rainbows for someone else to catch. Brook trout have a tendency to overpopulate lakes and outcompete other species for food. You'll be doing them and us a favor by harvesting brook trout instead of the rainbows. Thanks.
It's 7:30 and the wind isn't up yet, so the water's dead calm. So the plan is to eat and then get out on the water before the wind comes up. Fish those flats. There should be fish cruising around in there. The sun will be behind me, which will make it easier for me to see them, and more difficult for them to see me, because hopefully they'll be faced the other way. And then I think I'm going to take 2 days to hike back. I mean, you know, I've hiked back to the trailhead in 1 day from here, and I could do that today. But you know, I'm a day ahead of schedule. Nobody's expecting me back for 2 days, so I figure why rush? I'll hike halfway today and then do the other half tomorrow. And you can see the water is almost still as glass. I'm not going to fish here right now. I'm going to fish up a little bit farther, but let's see if we can see any fish. Yep, there's one facing this way. There's a rise out there, but what we're interested in are the fish that are over here. You can see fish rising there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start from the bottom and I'm going to walk that weed bed looking for a fish right on the edge, and hopefully not spooking any. We'll see. The wind's come up a little bit, which is a little surprising. It usually doesn't come up this early. The idea though is I'm going to try to sight fish along this bank. So I think I'll just stand here and wait for the wind to die down. Oh, there's a fish. Crap, did I spook him? Shoot, there was a fish. And I think I was screwing around with the camera for too long and he's gone out of range. He may have seen me. I had my hand on the camera when he came down and he was coming towards me, and then he turned around. Sometimes this filming is a double-edged sword. You know, I screw around with the camera and I miss opportunities like that. And typically, I only get 1 or 2 opportunities in here because the fish are so spooky. I mean, you can see the water's only like 6 inches deep there. Frankly, I'm not sure having this camera on my head helps. I know. Oh, there's one. Oh, he's going out. Crap, behind him. I either spooked him or it's a good cast. Nope. Okay, well that was right about where he was. Oh, there he is. Oh, right next to the grass too. Shoot. There we go. No, he rejected it. And that spooked him. Shoot. As I was saying, the sun's behind me, so I don't think the camera's a problem. But You know, when I work my way upstream, I'm gonna have to take the camera off the top of my head because it's one big reflective surface. Well, that was a good opportunity. And I'm not quite sure why he rejected it. I am fishing a heavier leader than I normally do. I'm fishing 4X today. There we go. Bring him downstream. It's a good fish. Come on, come on. Yeah, that's a good fish. What have we got here? The rod says it's just under 16. Now, I can only presume that was that same fish that I saw cruising around in here. Sight fishing is a game of patience, especially in skinny water like this. Just gotta stand perfectly still, wait, and watch. Now I'm gonna stand here until the wind comes down, because right in there, that's perfect water for them to be sitting, especially right there. And with the wind up, I can't see in there, and if I walk over there, you know, I'm liable to spook them. Okay, I see one more fish working in here. I put the fly out. He took it. I pulled it out of his mouth, and that may have spooked him. I had a second shot at that fish, and I did the same thing again, and this time it definitely spooked him, and he took off towards the middle of the lake. I thought I waited long enough, though. I was really surprised. Another fish up there, and now I don't see it. Where the heck did it go? Where did it go? There he is. Now I'm closer to the water than I would like. Okay. I think I will stay right here and wait for him to come back. He was right there in the center. Now that I'm standing here, there's probably little chance of that fish that was hanging out here coming back. Rejected. Too far. Okay, so I'm in the water right now. And the last two times that fish came up here, he saw me and took off. And the problem is I'm not seeing him until he's right up on me. Yeah, I've got to spot them as they're coming towards me a lot sooner than I am. I'm only spotting them when they're about 10 feet away. I need to be looking farther up, farther into the current. course, when they're coming in my direction, right, they're looking right at me. So any movement. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to move over there so that I'm not in the direct line of sight when they come. And that should make it a little bit easier for me to spot them as well. And frankly, I should have thought about that earlier. Maybe this is better. Maybe. You never know. Of course, now when I cast, if I cast on my right-hand side, the wind's going to want to blow the fly in my face, so I may have to cast over my left shoulder. I really need to get back to the casting ponds. My casting has gotten really bad. Okay, there's an active fish or two right in that patch of weeds over that green spot. My fly is sitting in there. Fortunately, it's not coming back to me fast enough. Try to bring it back to me so I don't spook them. I've made 3 attempts at them so far. It's hard to tell whether they're moving towards me or away from me in there. And oh, there he is. Is that too far in front of him? Nope, he's not interested in coming down this far. Okay. Where'd he go? Okay, I'll have to wait for him to show himself again. Oh, wait. There was a flash. He's right there, I think. Maybe a little twitch. No. Must be behind him. Okay, well, I've been given more than enough opportunities, that's for sure. Oh. Whoa. That looks, oh, that's a good fish up there. Okay, I'm gonna move a little closer. Now I should probably be crouching, but if I crouch, I'm not gonna get the vantage point, so I'm hoping that I'm far enough back that I won't spook them. Well, maybe I've done just that. Maybe I'll go up and crouch along that. Crap, that was not where I wanted it. It needed to be 2 feet out to the left. Just let it run its course. Okay, I'm gonna risk getting a little closer. Okay, I'm on my knees and I'm super close now. It's a little bit harder to see them. On my knees didn't work because of all the mosquitoes. So they were swimming right back and forth in between here. Now I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to blind fish this for a while because I know the fish have been moving in and out of there, and then head into the stream. And that's about 14. So I was heading back to the creek and I saw this fish. And whoa, come on, come on, come on. Probably gonna lose him. Okay, let's bring him in. I was trying to. Come on. Well, he really wants to run. Let's bring him closer to shore. Come on, head up. Head up. Head up. Okay, that's about all she wrote. Ah, decent sized fish. Let's see what we got this one. This one is 16. Starting to have an allergic reaction. There's another fish. Starting to have an allergic reaction to the all the mosquito bites I've gotten. I use Natrapel, which is pretty worthless as a bug repellent. But the only reason I use it is because I can't stand DEET. I just can't stand to use it, and I really need to bring some Benadryl or something with me on these trips. Okay, so you know what? I think maybe I'll just take one more quick pass up and down, just to see if there aren't any fish cruising around, and then I'll head down into the creek. Would like another shot at that big fish that I saw in here earlier. Okay, so I'm finally moving into the creek. I'm going to fish the dry fly. The wind has been up all morning, so it may be difficult to spot fish. But from that bottom pocket to where I caught those fish yesterday, I'm hoping there's some fish that are hanging in there that I can cast a dry to. Then I'll go up to that spot where I was. I'll fish the lower section with the dry, and then throw a nymph on, fish that with a nymph, and then fish above with a nymph. I'm hoping that big fish that I missed yesterday, that fish is haunting me. When the fly first landed, that big fish came up and was going to take it, and had I not pulled it out, I probably would have had him on. And that just, one of the adages of fly fishing is that your best your best chance of catching a fish is on the first cast. And so I should have just played that cast out and then made another cast. So I'm hoping that fish is up there and that it's active. We'll see what I can catch between here and there. So I've also removed the camera clip from my hat. So I'll do the best to film as best I can, but we'll see what happens. This is that first hole that I was at yesterday, and I can see a fish right there. It's facing towards me, swimming back and forth. Let's see if I can drop this dry fly in there. Look at that, brook trout chasing this rainbow. Not quite sure what that's all about. Maybe we'll see some fish moving around in here. It was yesterday. What I'm going to do is fish a dry on the left here. Sorry, fish a dry on the right, and then fish a dry on the left, and then switch to nymphs. I'm not seeing any fish in this pool. Maybe there's one or two up at the top. Ooh, there's a fish right there. I cast to that fish, and yeah, it definitely spooked him. Not quite sure why. One fish in this pool, and the dry fly is spooking him. So if I'm going to spook him, I might as well fish the nymph, get it down to him. Okay, so the wind's come up again. I need to wait for the wind to go down, find the fish, make my cast. I haven't tried that undercut bank yet, but I want to try to get this fish first. Mainly because it's the only fish that I see. Not a single fish where they were all stacked up last night. So I'm going to head upstream into the grass, and this fish was just sort of sitting there cruising around. Nice fish. Ooh, that might be the best fish today. So just working my way upstream, looking for fish. It's about 11 o'clock, and I think it's time I pack it in. I'm not seeing any more active fish, and my lips have reached their tolerance of mosquito bites. So I'm gonna go back, eat lunch, pack up, and then head back out on the trail. So there's a run with some fish here, so maybe I've got a few more fish in me. A couple more fish cruising around in there. I may have put them down when I caught that last fish. I can see one right in the corner there. Let's see if I can get him to come up. Oh, rejected! But not by that one. It's really deep in here. Maybe the one I just caught. Where'd he go? I don't see him anymore. Up there he is. Is he coming up? He's not coming up. Okay. Put it in front of him. Survey says, got him. Oh, there's a fish there too. Wow. Okay, let's come on, come back. Come back. There are several fish swimming around in here. So I'll stay until I stop hooking fish or my allergies get the best of me. Okay, let's see if I can get that one to come up. Grass or mosquitoes? Which allergy is worse? Nope, doesn't look like he's going to come up. And I'm not seeing any more swimming around in here. Try up there. And those ones that were down there, they're gone too. Okay, well, I'll just try up around this bend. See if I see anything. Okay, we got 2 fish in there, if I haven't spooked them. Where'd he go? I lost him. Shoot. They were right in the back of that pole. Oh, there's one. Here he comes. Got him! Stay out of the pool so you don't disturb the other guy. Come on. Let's see. Oh, there's a rock there. That's what I want to do. Well, that'll work. Well, that second fish must have spooked. Now, I wouldn't doubt that there are fish all under those rocks and along that bank. And if I was prospecting, that would be a good way to go. Okay, so going back to not seeing any fish, I'm about level with my campsite now. So I'm gonna go back to camp and have lunch. I'm really tempted to stay another night. You know, the bugs are bad, but that's sort of the price you pay for, you know, for fishing this time of year and for fishing as good as it is this time of year. Unfortunately, my knee's starting to feel a little wonky, and my knee never feels wonky. So I've popped some ibuprofen, and I think the better part of valor would be to do half the hike today and half the hike tomorrow. But man, I would really like to stay another day. So I've changed my mind. I'm not leaving tonight. So I'll get on the trail and fish a little bit of the right-hand side of the lake. So I'm gonna start fishing where I was earlier today, and then I'm gonna fish my way around this side of the lake, which is something I haven't done in quite a few number of years. I know there are a couple hot spots on that side, and I'll be sure to hit, but maybe the lake will surprise me and there'll be some better fishing than there typically is. I don't have my waders on, so I'm not going to be getting wet. So over there where it gets a little marshy, I may have to go around that. It'll be interesting to see if there's still fish holding in here, or if it's something that they only do when the light's low. How could I leave this when I don't actually need to? Like I said, this is home. There are most definitely still fish in these flats. I saw that fish. I threw my fly out, and you know, basically this is like 6 inches of water, so I've got a weighted fly, and so I just threw it out, counted to 3, hoped he was on it, and set the hook. nice fish. That is another 16-incher. Hey, hey, stop. Oops, teeth. It's moved up into the flats a little bit farther along the bank, and this water's darker, but it's not the same characteristic, and it looks like I'm catching a smaller fish. So I think I'll move further up the bank, try that dark water there. Darker water here signifies weed beds. We've got some damsels that are floating around above the surface. The wind is coming in this direction, so I'm going to cast out this way. In theory, the fish are going to be facing the wind, and I'll be fishing across to them. So if the fish are stacked up like this, then my fly is coming along like that, in theory. Whether that's what actually happens, only the fish know. So I hooked a fish right in there where I thought they'd be, and see if it's a rainbow or another brookie. Oh, it's a rainbow. Get him on the reel. Oh, it's taking a long time to get him on the reel. I don't need a knot. That's what I don't need. And a 12-inch rainbow. Hey, 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 hey. Hey, hey, hey. It's not a bad fish. The flats have proven to be pretty productive today. I'm going to try off of that point next. I'm feasting like a king today, courtesy of elk jerky from Tyler Davids of the Dark Timber Brotherhood. Thanks, Tyler. This really hit the spot today. My way up the bank, and really mostly catching these 10-inch brook trout. Whoops. That's all I seem to be finding. Interesting area. I think it's different colored sand interspersed with rocks, and then there's a drop off right there. And what I've been doing is just trying to cast right off of the drop off, counting down for 14-15 seconds. And strip, pause, and I'd expect the fish to take it right after it goes over the drop off, which is what that last fish did. Probably another brook trout. It's all I seem to be getting over here. He doesn't want to come in, and I don't want to give him a chance to tie me up in an underwater stick. Yep, another brook trout. Okay, come on over here. Get this stick out of the way. That's not a bad brook trout. come on. Or you can just jump off yourself. Either way works for me. Looks like that drop off finally produced a rainbow. Okay, come here, little guy. Not a bad size rainbow. Yeah, that's not bad. That's not far enough. That might be far enough. Probably not, though. No. That's plenty far. There we go. What have we got here? Another brookie. So I'm still fishing that same drop off. I got about a half dozen fish and twice as many casts. And when they stopped coming, I started, instead of counting down to 15, I switched levels and started counting down to 30, and then I was instantly into fish again. Oh, I've been back to camp, changed into my waders. I'll go out and fish the flats and the creek like I did last night for about an hour. And if I catch a nice fish, I'll film it. Otherwise, we'll see what happens. Just as I was going to go to the flats, somebody else went there. So I'm up at the other pool about an hour earlier than I want to be here, but who knows, maybe the fish are here. That's a nice fat fish. Fishing this evening paled in comparison to yesterday. It was one of those you should have been here yesterday moments. One fish from that pool, I only saw maybe another fish. It would seem like the same fish that I'd seen in the afternoon that was running around all spooked about everything. I went down to the flats and you know, it was too much chop on the water to actually see something. Did some prospecting. Didn't pick anything up there. So tomorrow I'm going to try to get up at first light. I've been sort of waking up at 5:30, but not getting out of my tent until 7, which is pretty normal for me. I usually like to wait until the sun hits the tent.
but I'll get up as early as I wake up tomorrow, which will probably be between 5 and 6:30. And unfortunately, everything will be wet with condensation and whatever, but pack everything up and hit the trail. It's going to be at least 10 hours to get out tomorrow. So if I can, if I can leave by 7 o'clock, I can get to the car hopefully by 5 and be on the road. I hope you enjoyed watching this high country video chronicle. Thanks for coming along.
Messing with the mosquito.